The show is King Crucial the Great. It's King Tables Podcast. I'm with your boy King Chaos.
No.
And tonight we're gonna be discussing the Daytona shooting or the Florida cop because that's a touchy subject. And it hit home to me. I don't want to talk about nothing else but that right now. So, with further ado, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to play this video. But before we get into the video, Mr. Kwame Brown himself was just speaking on something relevant to the lungs or what I feel could be related to this situation. So I'll play a short clip to get it started.
They gonna see him. Still gonna approach you.
My bad, let me take it back.
Y'all thought I was gonna stop fucking with y'all? Oh, now y'all wanna apologize and all this shit after y'all been fucking with y'all.
My bad.
Fuck me. I ain't even giving a fuck what you say. But look at what you're doing to everybody. Michael Sam, so what if you hate? So what if the other guys hate? Why couldn't you have fair commentary for both of these people? You piece of shit.
Alright. Here's what I'm talking about, right?
So, now that y'all know that you have people in place to take down the black kids at every turn of the corner. They're going to build statues, but they're going to still make you look like you're doing something wrong. They're still going to approach you, hoping that you get too loud so they can shoot you or beat you. So, I don't understand what statues is going to do. You're going to change the motherfucking laws and change making cops and certain people think they're above each other and getting these fake gatekeeping, talking head ass niggas out of these seats and disrespect black men. We watching. We aware now. Yeah, when them black ground niggas come out from here on out, boy, you gonna talk with respect.
Alright.
Your motherfuckers don't talk about Trajan Langdon no more.
Now,
He went to Euphoria.
I'm going to play the video of where the brother in Daytona had his situation with the police. Now, pretty much everybody who I've asked about this video has had their panties in a bunch and pretty much can't understand why the police officer got shot. So, here it is. My first point right here, the video was edited. That's my first thing I want to point out. That throws me off to where I want to know what happened in that instance because either this police officer turned his camera off or the video was edited after the fact before it was released to the public. Okay, so let me run it back so you can see clearly what I'm talking about. Right here, he's standing in front of the car, and then automatically he's like interacting with the passenger, And even though his door is already open right now, it's kind of blurry now, but there's another car right here. This door is open. Now watch how the camera just skips from being in front of the car to being on the other side of this door. So it's clear that the video is doctrine. I'm gonna just keep that in mind. Now, the brother, when he first hopped out the car, asked him what's going on, right? The police officer first question was, do you live here? And really, that's none of his business. All he's doing is patrolling, right? Now, whether you live there or not is completely irrelevant at this point if he wasn't breaking the law or doing anything suspicious. From what we saw on this video, he was just sitting in the car. So I'm going to continue to play the video. He grabs him, telling him to sit while his hand is on his arm. That's presenting to me, in my opinion, a threatening presence. Okay. Now it's with two hands. And yet he still haven't answered any questions. He's asking what's going on, what do you want? And all those questions are being ignored. Now, this isn't an everyday civilian. This is a police officer. Rolling the clip. Before he even answered his question, he calls for backup. He gets shot. We know that the brother goes on the run and ends up getting captured. Now, what's your take on it, bro?
I mean, you know, I agree that there's a humongous question mark within that first 10-second footage with the teleportation of officer from the front of the vehicle to inside the driver door. That was kind of amazing. And then we have the humongous question of is this officer trained in how to interact with civilians? And if he has been properly trained, where was the failure of communication? How well did he score in that training? And you know, he needs to actually be the one being reprimanded once he, you know, can communicate.
Okay. My whole thing is I gotta be careful how I say this because I don't want to give off the wrong impression. But at what point did he feel like it was logical to present why he was interacting with this fellow? What made him feel like he had this?
What kept him from communicating without having to make physical contact? He could have kept himself at a safer distance and, you know, and talked all he wanted to.
But he didn't. Instead, he went and grabbed on him without his permission. In my book,
That's assault. Shit, if I walk up to you and grab you without, letting you know what's going on, nigga, that's assault. If I'm a complete stranger. And, it's no secret who he is in the small town of Daytona. And, when, the police catch wind of a militia being at a whoop the whoop or whatever, of course they gonna pay attention to certain individuals. That's what their job description is. But at the same time, they still gotta follow the law when doing so. Because the law states when it's directed against the police, you have to use reasonable force.
The injury involved is fortunate. And to add to that, it's unfortunate that the interaction was so negative and aggressive to begin with. When things start off bad, they usually get worse.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like it all goes back to that interaction thing. Like if he would have came and showed him the respect of a man instead of some black boy who we gotta teach a lesson, then that whole outcome would have been different. When do you ever see the police walking up on you and just grabbing you immediately without even telling you what the fuck going on? And I'm going to just drop this just so the people and the viewers know he did live there.
Now, here's a humongous point we got to touch on. We have to remember that as citizens, we have the right to act this way. If we are being moved upon by anyone, officer or civilian, and we feel it's appropriate, we can protect ourselves. Everyone has that right.
In Florida.
In the state of Florida.
Stand your ground. It's the same law that got George Zimmerman off of Trayvon's murder case. The stand your ground law. So he was perfectly within the law. Nobody even asked, well, damn, did he live there? He shot a cop. He should kill him, riddle him with bullets. Yeah, he should not. He put him under the jail. Damn. For real?
At his own crib.
For real? This man chilling at his own crib.
And this is the world we live in.
And I'm like, bro, it's like people act so blind to where you see hundreds of black men dying on your TV. Every fucking day, damn near. So, of course, when we interact with the police, it's going to be a domino effect. If they're giving off a certain type of vibe, they're going to get a certain type of vibe back. Because, it ain't, like I said, bro, it's like, shit, you can only bite a nigga hand so many times before he slap you with it. Yeah.
I mean, it's a touchy subject, but fortunately, it's gonna turn out it's gonna turn out in a predetermined fashion, man.
Now the real fight begins. Now the real fight begins because now the outcome of this case will determine a lot when it comes to laws and the civilian and police relationship in Florida after this case.
Do you believe that the militia structure is the better residential protection set up than a police department, or should the militia be a hands-on, the police department be backup, or the police department be hands-on, militia be backup?
All I know is that he a smart dude, man. He ain't no just young little dummy off the block. He a smart dude. I know the way he gonna maneuver and the way he gonna handle himself is gonna be appropriate. So,
Confident this is going to turn out.
Like I tell him, man, stay dangerous. Because at the end of the day, shit, we the ones being hunted and preyed upon. As simple as that. Shit, what Japanese people reside at?
Japan.
What Irish people reside?
Right in their lands, man. Everybody space but us.
Everybody got their own space. And you notice crime in them places is way lower in America.
Mm-hmm.
What the African police look like? What the Jamaican police look like? What the Puerto Rican police look like? What the Mexican police look like? But you go to America, you know, and that's why they call it the land of the free, because it's free game, but they gonna kill you. They gonna kill you. You're gonna be hunted and preyed upon if you don't know how to maneuver, especially if you're in a foreign land. Like I said, Trayvon Martin was in a foreign land. He didn't know how to maneuver in Sanford, not that small city. He wouldn't even think Sanford is that type of city if you're not from that city. But niggas from that city know, like, you better maneuver right. You better move right. Because if you don't, you get caught slipping. Hey. And in his case, it happened in a neighborhood that wasn't even in the hood. It was in an upscale neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And that go to show you. That's how they view us, bro. Trayvon could have killed Zimmerman with his own gun. Compassion stopped him from doing it. So, like I say, man, Black America. It's the only way. It's the only solution. It's the only solution. I ain't talking about Black Wall Street. I'm talking Black America. It gotta be bigger than a couple blocks. It gotta be bigger than a city. It gotta be bigger than a state. It gotta be its own country, straight up. Because literally every other ethnicity on the planet have such.
Everybody got their stragglers, and they seem to all end up in the U.S. We a whole nation, and we stragglers.
And then they want you to think, well, you have Africa, and that's how they've been able to keep this thing going for so long. They want to pin us to Africa, but no, we have America. This was our land, bitch. The Indians was me. The Indians looked like me and shit. The Indians looked like you in America, nigga. They wasn't looking like the motherfucking Indians that's walking the planet now. That's through the $5 Indian trade and that shit. What they did, where you can pay $5 to become a Indian. I'm an internet or fuck up, dude. But yeah, man, like I said,
you don't know about that.
They want to pin us to Africa, bro. But America is our real native land. Let me ask you this question: which would be easier? Will it be easier to dumb down a huge population to think that they came from Africa, or will it be easier to ship millions of these slaves across the Atlantic Ocean using primitive navigational skills? You got to think about it. 400 years, that's a lot of generations. A lot of generations. And you got to remember, there was a point in time where we couldn't read. If we was found reading, they kill us. You got to wonder, how long did that go on to where they can fix it and set the playing field to their liking? Who's to say we even ever came from Africa? And maybe that's why the Africans have that type of animosity towards us.
I do have a theory. I have a historically backed theory.
Me too.
About that.
I know that's not why, but I'm just saying that could feed into it as well, though. But back to Black American, the issue at point is that this is just a case of one in a many, bro. That's gonna be happening if there's not a real change.
And so I think I understand why we have a real hard time with making the change. It's because
I'm gonna tell you why. It's because there's a whole population of people that's not being represented properly. There's a whole population of felons, people who don't subscribe to a Republican or Democratic Party, who's just not being represented properly. You gotta think about it. Even if they hacked the systems and forged all these votes, you had Trump with 80 million votes, and you had Biden. I mean, you had Biden with 80 million, and you had Trump with 70 million, right? So that's 150 million votes together, right? What are the 150 million people at? And that's what I'm saying. That whole population is not being represented. And that's where the problem comes in hand at. Because this whole system only represents these two types of way of thinking. And you really have to be a sheep to think that way. But for the independent thinkers, the independent people, the independent builders and creators, and the people who went through, made a mistake, and learned from their lesson and paid their dues to society, they still viewed a certain type of way because they can't even put a say into society, which is the trap to keep you reverting back to going into their prisons.
So it's key for that population that we need to come up with a good name for that group, for that misrepresented, missing, not votable, not politically influenced population that we fall into. You know what I'm saying? We need a name so we can build momentum behind one directive instead of everybody having a whole bunch of different directions. And because the key is unity. I mean, at the end of the day, once everybody comes underneath a single flag of understanding or purpose, then we can really go forward and say, listen, so what needs, we need clear understanding of what makes this nation count.
Right.
And then we need to see how we can become heard, because past payments of criminal history, at some point you have to be able to open back up, and I don't understand the process of getting rights back and whatnot. So I guess that's going to be added to my research list. So that we can turn it into a workshop.
All right.
Because at the end of the day, anybody comes out to the pen with an F on their jacket, I mean, there's supposed to be a pathway to getting your citizenship or whatever, right?
Pretty
Yeah, I
sure.
mean, it makes
Yeah.
no sense. Voice and then like never give him a voice again. So there has to be a path. It's just not a well-known path. Like
Yeah, it has to be. I'm pretty sure once you get your record expunged and everything, but what I'm saying is you have to get a lawyer and everything for that, which isn't impossible. But what I'm saying is you shouldn't have to jump through those loops because you're still a part of the economy. You're still a part of the society, regardless. Your dollar is still spending. Yeah, so it's not like your dollar is less than anybody else in the society.
all right, I just got a whole new project. Thanks. You adding to my to-do list. I need my black folder. That black on that little table.
But yeah, bro, I had to get that up off my chest. And I'm gonna just say salute the ozone. You know, I hate that you had to be the person to be put in this situation, but I also feel like this situation was needed. And yeah, you ain't gotta worry about me saying nothing bad about you because I know you. You good dude, you good people, and this is a father of two little girls and a little boy, and salute to you, bro. Prayers with you, and stay strong.
This side too, mate.
And,
Keep your head up.
And on that note, you've been tuned into the King's Table podcast. I know you see the drip. The official KingCrucial.com. Catch your gear. I have a link in the bio. Like, subscribe, hit the comments, and let us know what y'all think about this situation. Real talk, Otha look good dude, man. He just put in a situation where he know he's being targeted, in my opinion. These are my words, my thinking. And if I was part of the group that he was part of, and then this officer comes showing me suspicion, it's going to cause anybody to react a certain type of way. And, you know, I don't really get white people or any people who not black to get it or who not American to get it. But some people who's white, who's other color, they get it. So for those people, it's for you. Drop the comments, and we out. Thanks for watching the King Tables podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Think with greatness.